بسم الله. تكملة lesson 1 هنتكلم عن السبيد. We can describe the motion of some objects around us as fast and some others as slow. Speed is a physical quantity which is used to describe and compare the motion of objects. بيقول لي if there are two cars, one of them is red and the other is blue, which of them is faster in the following two cases? The first case بتقول لي if the two cars move for the same period of time which is 5 seconds. لو السيارتين بيمشوا بنفس الزمن 5 ثواني. The red car covers a distance of 100 meter. The blue car covers a distance of 50 meter. The second case بتقول if the two cars cover the same distance which is 100 meter, the red car takes a time of 5 seconds, the blue car takes a time 10 seconds. هنبص عند ال original position. The two cars take the same time which is 5 seconds, but the red car takes a larger distance than the blue car in the first case. In the second case, the two cars take the same distance but different in time. من النوتس دي، من الملاحظات دي هنجد we find that in the red car is faster than the blue car because the red car covers a large distance 100 meter in the same time 5 seconds. Because the second case, because the red car takes less time, which is 5 seconds to cover the same distance 100 meter. From the previous explanation we conclude that هنستنتج the two factors necessary for the description of speed motion are the two factors اللي بيتحكموا في السبيد هم the distance covered by the moving body, the time taken by the moving body to cover this distance. So we can define speed as follows. The speed, it is the distance moved through a unit time. It is the rate of change of distance. law اللي عندي speed V equal the distance over time. To calculate speed عندي some laws هنستخدمها عشان نحسب السبيد. السبيد هيبقى عندي السبيد distance with time from the triangle. V equal distance over time, ومنها distance equal velocity multiply time with time equal distance over velocity. في سؤال بيقول when does the following happen؟ ماذا يحدث هذا أو متى يحدث هذا؟ الآتي: the value of the object speed is equal to the value of the distance covered. متى قيمة سرعة بتساوي قيمة المسافة when the object covers this distance through a unit time 1 hour or 1 minute or 1 second. The object speed increases by decreasing the time taken to cover a certain distance because velocity equal a distance over time, so the object speed is inversely proportional to the time taken when the distance is constant. The object speed increases by increasing the covered distance at a certain time because velocity equal a distance over time, so the object speed is directly proportional to the covered distance when the time is constant. measuring units عندي حاجة مهمة اللي هي measuring units of speed. The speed measuring unit is different according to the the units of distance and time which are used as in the following. measuring units of distance. عندي measuring units للديستانس بتقول لي ال 1 kilometer equal 1000 meters, ال 1 meter equal 100 centimeters, ال 1 kilometer equal 1000 multiply 100 equal 100,000 centimeters. دي تحويلات مهمة من from kilometer to meter we multiply by 1000 وهكذا باقي التحويلات. From 1 meter to centimeters multiply 100 from kilometer to centimeters multiply ب 0 ب 100,000 centimeters. measuring units of time. الوحدات الخاصة بالزمن 1 hour equal 60 minutes, 1 minute equal 60 seconds, 1 hour equal 60 multiply 60 equal 3600 seconds. From hour to minute, from minute to second, و from hour to second. تحويلات مهمة عشان البروبلمز اللي هنشرحها بعد كده. measuring عندي measuring units of speed بيقول لي from illustration من التوضيح اللي فات للتحويل عاوز اعمل converting from 1 kilometer per hour ل meter per second. انا عارف ان ال 1 kilometer equal 1000 meter وال 1 hour equal 60 multiply 60 seconds. يبقى to convert 1 kilometer per hour to meter per second هضرب في 1000 over 60 multiply 60 اللي هي abbreviation بتاعها 5 over 18 meter per second. عندي two examples. A car moves at 72 kilometer per hour. To convert from kilometer اليونتس بتكلم دلوقتي عن اليونتس to convert from kilometer per hour to meter per second we multiply by 5 over 18 equal 20 meter per second. A car moves at 20 meter per second. عندنا العكس للتحويل from meter per second to kilometer per hour. هنا هنعمل عملية division قسمة نقسم على 5 over 18 equal 72 kilometer per hour. عندي نوت مهمة بتقول لي to compare the speed of two objects the measuring units must be the same. ودي مهمة جدا جدا. لازم الوحدات عشان أقارن السرعة بتاعة جسمين لازم الوحدات بتاعتهم تكون متشابهة نفس الوحدات. ما ينفعش أقارن كيلومتر per hour بمتر per second. لازم الوحدات تكون متساوية الوحدات متشابهة. نخش هنروح للبروبلمز. البروبلمز بيقول لي أول سؤال عندي بيقول a runner runs at speed of 6 meter per second. Find the distance covered by the runner in 10 seconds. Solution. هكتب أول حاجة اللاw بتاعي. اللاw بيقول لي velocity equal distance over time ومنها distance equal velocity multiply time. هعوض تعويض مباشر ومنها distance equal 6 multiply 10 equals 60 meters. Number 2 a train covers 50 meters in 2 seconds. Find its speed in kilometer per hour. خلي بالي اليونتس kilometer per hour. هحسب ال velocity equal ال distance over time، يبقى ال 50 over 2 equal 25 meter per second، ومنها هحول من الميتر per second للكيلومتر per hour، هعمل عليه division division، هقول ال velocity equal 25 over 5 over 18 equal 90 kilometer per hour. A train starts to move at 6 o'clock in the morning. What is the time of arrival if it moves at a speed of 40 kilometer per hour to cover a distance of 200 kilometer؟ هكتب الله زي ما متعود، ال velocity equal a distance over time، ومنها ال time equal a distance over ال velocity، يبقى 200 over 14 or 40 equal 5 hours. The time of arrival equal زمن الوصول هيساوي 6 plus 5 equal 11. The train arrival is 11 in the morning. مسألة سهلة مهمة. Question. عندي تمرين. في نوع تاني من الأسئلة اللي هو ما المقصود ب What is meant by a car moves at a speed of 120 km per hour. This means that the car covers a distance of 120 kilometers in 1 hour. A train covers a distance of 150 kilometers in 2 hours. This means that the train moves at a speed equals 75 km per hour, where the velocity equal a distance over time equal 150 over 2 equal 75 km per hour. The speed of a car equal 0. ما المقصود بأن سرعة السيارة بتساوي صفر؟ This means that the car is at rest. وده منطقي. لو الكار ساكنة يبقى سرعتها صفر. Cars and planes are usually provided with a group of counters such as speedometer, mileage, hour timer, and compass. If the car speedometer pointer points to 72, this means that the car speed is 72 km per hour equal 20 meter per second. Cars and planes are provided by speedometer to help us identify the speed of cars and planes directly. هناخد ال types of speed. Speed can be described as عندي نوعين من السبيد: irregular uniform speed و irregular non-uniform speed. What is the difference between them؟ ايه الفرق ما بينهم؟ From the previous two figures we conclude that عندي car A و car B. Car A moves to cover equal distances 100 meters at equal periods of time 10 seconds. So the car moves at a regular uniform speed. وده منطقي، السيارة بتمشي مسافات متساوية في أزمنة متساوية. The second car, car B, moves to cover unequal distances 100, 120, 18 meter, 80 meter at equal periods of time 10 seconds. So the car moves at an irregular non-uniform speed. وده منطقي، عند الكار A بتمشي مسافات متساوية في أزمنة متساوية، يبقى دي irregular speed، سرعة منتظمة. والكار الثانية بتمشي مسافات مختلفة different speeds at the same time في نفس الوقت، يبقى دي irregular speed. irregular uniform speed و irregular non-uniform speed. irregular uniform speed بيقول لي إن هي it is the speed at which an object moves when it covers equal distances at equal periods of times زي ما شفنا في الكار A. irregular in non-uniform speed it is the speed at which an object moves when it covers unequal distances at equal periods of time. unequal مسافات غير متساوية عشان كده irregular speed. بيقول لي think what is the thing that moves at a constant speed in the space. All electromagnetic waves such as light transfer through space with a constant speed equals 3 multiply 10 power 8 meter per second. It is the speed at which an object moves when it covers equal distances at an unequal periods of time. What is meant by an object moves at a regular speed of 50 km per hour? This means that the object covers a distance of 50 kilometers each 1 hour. Most of moving cars cannot move inside crowded towns all the time at uniform speed because the speed of the car it changes according to the conditions of the road. تبقى للconditions ظروف طريق. The metro moves at an irregular speed because the metro covers unequal distances at equal periods of time, or it covers equal distances at an equal periods of time. The problems calculate the distance covered by a car which moves at a regular speed of 70 km per hour during half an hour with 2 hours. السوليوشن بتاعي بيقول لي velocity equal the distance over time ومنها distance equal velocity multiply time. في first case distance هقول distance equal 70 multiply half equal 35 kilometer. With second case distance equal 70 multiply 2 equal 140 kilometer. مسألة سهلة، تعويض مباشر في اللوز اللي أنا عارفها. A body moves in a straight line at a regular speed, and the distances covered in different times are recorded in the following table. A distance, a time. عندي distance مسافات 10 20 و unknown هحسبه دلوقتي 40 50 60 5 10 15 20 و another unknown y with 30. بيقول لي calculate the speed of the body. what is the value of x and y. السبيد أنا عارف إن السبيد equal the distance over time يبقى equal 10 over 5 equal وبرضه بتساوي 20 over 10 equal 40 over 20 equal 60 over 30 equal 2 meter per second. جبت السبيد السرعة، قسمت الديستنس على time جبت السبيد. الديستنس بتساوي السبيد في multiply time يبقى equal 2 multiply 15 equal 30 meter. التايم y جبت الديستنس x هجيب التايم y. التايم y equal أنا عارف التايم equal the distance over the speed يبقى 50 over 2 equal 25 second. From the following figure, does the person move at a regular speed or at an irregular speed and why? يعني قول لي الشخص ده بيتحرك بسرعة منتظمة أو بسرعة غير منتظمة وليه. السوليوشن بتاعي هجيب the first velocity ال v1 equal d1 over t1 equal 1 over 1 equal 1 meter per second. v2 equal d2 over t2 equal 30 minus 1 over 2 equal 1 meter per second. ال v3 equal d3 over t3 equal 4 minus 3 over 1 equal 1 meter per second. ال v4 equal d4 over t4 equal 7 minus 4 over 3 equal 1 meter per second. يبقى إذن ال v1 equal ال v2 equal ال v3 equal ال v4 كده أنا السرعات كلها زي بعض. يبقى so the person moves at a regular uniform speed as he covers equal distances 1 meter at equal periods of time 1 second. هناخد مصطلح جديد ال average speed. It is difficult to determine the amount of irregular speed of the object, so we use another term which is called average speed. السرعة المتوسطة average speed. It is the total تعريفها بيقول it is the total distance covered by the moving object divided by the total time taken to cover this distance. Average speed can be calculated as follows. Average speed ال v equal ال total distance over ال total time. يبقى أنا بجمع ال total distance وأقسمها على ال total time أحصل على ال average speed. What is meant by the average speed of a moving car is 40 km per hour. This means that the total distance covered by the car through 1 hour equals 40 km. ال problems خلاص اتعودت على البروبلم ننزع اتعودت على البروبلمز من القوانين. طالما عارف القوانين وحفظها البروبلمز سهلة جدا. First problem, a racer covered a distance of 100 meters of a straight track in 10 seconds running. Then he took 80 seconds to come back walking to the starting point of the race. Calculate the racer's average speed while running, 2 while walking, and 3 during the whole trip. The racer's average speed while running, average speed equal a distance over time, 100 over 10 equal 10 meter per second. A racer's average speed while walking, velocity equal a distance over time equal 100 meter over 80 equal 1.25 meter per second. Third case, a racer's average speed during the whole trip equal d1 plus d2 over t1 plus t2 equal 100 plus 100 over 10 plus 80 equal 200 over 90 equal 2.2 meter per second. A runner covered the first 100 meters of the race at 10 seconds and the following 300 meters of the race at 40 seconds. Find in which part of the race did he have the highest average speed. عايز ال highest average speed. Then calculate the average speed during the whole trip. The solutions طالما حافظ laws القوانين هعوض تعويض مباشر. A runner's average speed during the first 100 meter ال v equal a distance over time 100 over 10 equal 10 meter per second. The runner's average speed during the last 300 meter velocity equal a distance over time 300 over 40 equal 7.5 meter per second. The runner's average speed in the first 100 meter was faster than that in the last 300 meter. The runner's average speed during the whole trip خلال whole trip الرحلة كلها velocity v equal first distance plus the second distance over t1 plus t2 equal 100 plus 30 300 over 10 plus 40 equal 400 over 50 equal 8 meter per second. Calculate the average speed of an object that covers a distance of 84 meter through 12 seconds, then 56 meter through 8 seconds, then 28 meter through 4 seconds. Average speed حافظنا القانون خلاص. ال average speed عبارة عن total distance over ال total time equal تعويض مباشر تطلع 7 meter per second. طالما حافظ القوانين وعارف كل حاجة في القوانين الموضوع سهل. Calculate the irregular speed of an object that moves in a straight line to cover a distance of 168 meter through 24 seconds. سهلة. How would irregular speed equal a distance over time? يبقى ال 168 over 24 equal 70 equal 7 meter per second. From examples 3, 4, we can observe that the object covers the same distance, 7 meter, at the same period of time, 1 second. So the average speed can be defined in other words as follows. The average speed represents the regular speed at which an object moves to cover the same distance at the same period of time. When a body moves at a regular speed, its average speed equals the regular speed. ملحوظتين مهمين. When does the following happen? متى يحدث الآتي? The value of the average speed of a moving body equals to its speed at any moment when the body moves at a regular speed. The value of average speed of a moving body differs from the value of its speed at any moment when the body moves at an irregular speed. ودي منطقية جدا. relative speed هناخد نوع آخر من السبيد اللي هي السرعة النسبية relative speed. If there is a person standing on the side of the road called the observer زي static observer اللي واضح في الصورة ده to observe two cars A and B. Car A moves at 100 km per hour. Car B moves at 80 km per hour in the same direction. Therefore, the speed of car A relative to the static observer 100 km per hour. The speed of car B relative to the static observer equal 80 km per hour. The speed of car relative to an observer in car يبقى subtraction للاثنين يبقى 100 minus 80 equal 20 km per hour. Notes مهمة. The speed of car A relative to the static observer differs from its speed relative to an observer in car B. Measuring the relative speed قياس السرعة النسبية depends on the position of the observer who determines the magnitude of this speed. A relative speed, it is the speed of a moving object relative to static or a moving observer. ودي حالات للسرعة النسبية. The relative speed of a moving object in a certain direction differs according to the observer state and the direction of its movement as shown in the following table. هناخد حالة المراقب السرعة النسبية ومثال توضيحي illustrating example. The observer first case الobserver الفيرست كيس أول حالة الobserver is at rest في حالة سكون. relative speed شكلها the relative speed equal the real actual speed of the object السرعة الحقيقية للشيء. مثال عليه relative speed of the car زي المثال دوت كده. second case the observer is moving in the opposite direction of the moving object. The relative speed equal a real speed of the object plus the observer's speed. So the real speed of the object equal a relative speed of the object minus observer's speed. ومثال عليها طرح الاثنين لأن هما الاثنين في عكس الاتجاه يبقى السرعة النسبية تطرح الاثنين. مثال عليها relative speed of the car relative speed of the car جمع الاثنين relative speed جمع الاثنين. وهو بيقول لي ان relative speed is more than the real speed ان السرعة النسبية أكبر من السرعة الحقيقية الريال. Third case the observer is moving in the same direction at different speed at different speed سرعات مختلفة. The relative speed equal the real speed of the object minus the observer's speed. So the real speed of the object equal the relative speed of the object plus the observer's speed. ومثال عليها هما الاثنين في same direction car A and car B. The relative speed of the car equal 100 minus 60 equal 40 km per hour. The relative speed is less than the real speed أقل. يبقى أنا عندي لو هما الاثنين في نفس الاتجاه يبقى السرعة النسبية أقل من السرعة الحقيقية. لو هما الاثنين في عكس الاتجاه يبقى السرعة النسبية أكبر من السرعة الحقيقية. حالات مهمة هيجي على مسائل. The observer is moving in the same direction at the same speed. بيقولك المراقب بيتحرك في نفس الاتجاه وبنفس السرعة بتاعت السيارتين. The relative speed equal a difference between the two speeds equal 0. The relative speed of the car equal 0. لو كلهم ماشيين في نفس الاتجاه الobserver المراقب والسيارة والسيارتين أو الثلاثة اللي هم المراقب والسيارتين بيمشوا في نفس الاتجاه يبقى السرعة النسبية بتاعتهم صفر. The object seems static. يبدو كأنه ساكن. The moving car seems stable at rest to an observer. Moves at the same speed and the same direction because the relative speed equals the difference between their speeds equals 0. What is meant by the relative speed of a moving car is 90 km per hour. This means that the speed of the car relative to an observer equals 90 km per hour. The relative speed of a moving object equals its real speed. This means that the observer is at rest. The relative speed of a moving car equals 70 km per hour to an observer moves in the opposite direction at a speed 20 km per hour. This means that the real speed of the car equals 50 km per hour. When does the following happen? متى يحدث الآتي. The relative speed of a moving object relative to an observer equals to double الضعف of its real speed when the observer moves in the opposite direction at the same speed of the moving object. The relative speed of a moving object relative to an observer equals to 0. متى بيساوي صفر؟ متى بيبقى بصفر؟ When the observer moves in the same direction at the same speed of the moving object اللي هي كانت آخر كيس اللي هي دياتي. آخر كيس. What is meant by the relative speed of a moving car is 90 km per hour? This means that the speed of the relative to an observer equal 90 km per hour. The relative speed of a moving object equals its real speed. This means that the observer is at rest. The relative speed of a نقدر أخذناهم الأسئلة دي. خدنا the relative speed of a moving object relative to an observer equals to double of its real speed. The relative speed of a moving object relative to an observer equals 0 اللي آخر حالة اللي قلنا عليها. When does the following happen? متى يحدث الآتي؟ The relative speed of a moving object relative to an observer equals to double خدنا ديتها ماشي. We can summarize the previous explanation in the following diagram. هنقدر نلخص الشرح اللي فات ده في المخطط ده. The relative speed of a moving object in a certain distance in a certain direction is related to a static observer, a moving observer. بيعتمد على هو المراقب ساكن ولا المراقب متحرك. لو المراقب ساكن ال relative speed equal a real speed. لو المراقب متحرك في 3 cases. لو هو متحرك in the same direction at the same speed a relative speed equals 0. At different speed a relative speed equal the real speed minus the observer's speed. طب لو هما اتنين في in the opposite direction في عكس الاتجاه a relative speed equals the real speed plus observer's speed. ودي problems سهلة. Calculate the actual speed of the car whose relative speed is 50 km per hour relative to an observer moving in the opposite direction at a speed of 30 km per hour. Solution: a relative speed equal the actual speed plus observer's speed. ومنها ال actual speed equal a relative speed minus observer's speed equal 50 minus 30 equal 20. A train X is moving at a speed of 9 km per hour and another train Y is moving parallel to it at a speed of 60 km per hour. What is the relative speed of the train X relative to? 1. An observer stands on the platform of the station. 2. An observer sits in the train Y if he is moving in the same direction in the opposite direction. Solution: الحل. The relative speed of the train X relative to an observer standing on the platform equal its actual speed يبقى 90 km per hour. A relative speed of the train X relative to an observer sitting in the train Y and moving in يبقى first case the same direction equal the difference between the two speeds equal 90 minus 60 equal 30 km per hour. The opposite direction equal the sum of the two speeds equal 90 plus 60 equal 150 km per hour. وده سؤال حلوه هو سهل لو عارف القوانين اللي فاتت ديت اللحظة اللي خدناها ويكون بمثابة تطبيق على القوانين اللي خدناها. عندي بيقول is science, technology and society the time needed for the sunlight to reach the earth is determined by the relation speed of light the distance over time by knowing the distance between earth and the sun equals 149 million kilometer approximately يعني بالتقريب اللي هي المسافة ما بين الشمس الصن والأرض. The regular speed of light in space equals 300,000 km per second. The time needed for the sunlight to reach بيقول لك تطبيقات للقوانين اللي خدناها، لللاws اللي خدناها، اللي هي ال velocity equal the distance over time with this with distance equal ال velocity multiply time with time equal ال distance over ال velocity. تطبيقات. If the time of sunrise is 6 o'clock, this means that the light traveled from the sun at 5 o'clock and 51 minutes and 43 seconds. كلها تطبيقات على القوانين اللي خدناها والمسائل. ودي تعريفات التعريفات للمفاهيم اللي خدناها. الموشن، تعريف الموشن، السبيد، the two factors necessary for the description of the speed اللي هما distance والtime، measuring units، خدنا measuring units، والregular speed والirregular speed والaverage speed والrelative speed والrelative speed of a moving object depends on. ده كان كده الدرس الأول. شكرا، السلام عليكم.